right, greetings from Book Expo once again. We're at the National Book Network aisle, 1800 Javitz Center, and you guys have written a book that just rings really true for me because as a radio host, I've interviewed all kinds of rock and roll people, and I represent the music building at my father's place. So perfect. Mike Katz, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
All right, and you're Chris Kott?
I am, yes.
All right, so tell me about your book, because it's a wild book.
Well, it traces 100 years of music history in New York, from like the roots of rock and roll up to more or less the present day, starting with the first commercial blues recording, which was recorded on West 45th Street. So there's a lot of territory. We cover all the 5 boroughs, and we give about a dozen or so artists their own chapter, so you can sort of follow in their footsteps.
Wow. And so tell me, what was the most exciting thing for you, or the greatest discovery for you in doing the book?
Well, there's so many great discoveries. I mean, we had an opportunity to talk with some of the great luminaries of rock and roll history. Chris France was very generous with his time. Lee Ronaldo from Sonic Youth, Chris Stein from Blondie, and just digging up all these places where some we had never heard of, some we were very fortunate to find after doing a lot of research. I think rock and roll fans of all ages and interests will find a lot to love in this book.
And how did you treat some of the places that are now long gone, but certainly legendary?
Well, we gave them a lot of space. I mean, some places are very important, and as you know, we're only open for a few years, like the Fillmore East or the Scene, or some of the other great venues, or CBGBs for that matter. Like very few of them last more than a few years.
Yeah, and yet the impact we're still seeing today. Is there going to be like a rock and roll reality tour, getting on a bus like Kramer?
Maybe not for us. I don't know that anybody wants to hear us do that. We do have a book launch at Rough Trade on Sunday, June 3rd. And other events will happen, but I think that's as much as we'll probably do.
Okay. Is there going to be a follow-up book for outside of New York City, for like other venues, like the Grand Ole Opry and those kind of places?
That's classified at the current.
In other words, it's a need to know.
Right.
All right. Well, maybe I can work you over at the station, and then we'll ply you with coffee and donuts.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. For more information, where do people go to find the book, and and all that? It's Rock and Roll, the Explorer Guide to New York City.
Yep. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. It's in bookstores all over the city and all over the country, as far as I know.
Yeah.
All right. And it's Mike Katz and Crispin Crispin Kott.
You got it.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.